here to talk to you for a little bit. Artistic people, that's icing on the cake. Like, every day when you wake up should be a beautiful experience because you're living life and you're here. Of course it was terrible. Really? Am I going to say this right now? No, it was amazing. We had so much fun. Ate a lot of pizza midway. So that's typically not something you do at a photo shoot, is you don't. I think for me, doing fighting with Channing Tatum and Terrence Howard was an amazing moment for me because I was on set with, and Dito Montiel, who's the director, I was on set with so many talented, Terrence having just been nominated for an Oscar, and Channing, who was a breakout star at the time and who's now like this amazing A-list, just amazing actor. It was a great moment for me because it was, I was kind of new, I was learning a lot, I was like a sponge on that set, and everybody was so nice and was so giving and and when I say giving, I mean like everyone wanted everyone else to win, from the director on down, everyone on that set. It was a special set of people, and that was a huge moment for me. When you see your I remember driving all over LA and seeing we each had our own poster, and my mom was out here visiting me, and it wasn't the first time that I'd been on a movie poster, but it was just the first time. It was just my face, and again, that's the ego side of me coming out. But it's rewarding. It's a rewarding experience, and yeah, I remember that. That was nice. Well, to be completely honest with you, when I was a kid, I didn't think that I would have access to doing this, only because, my parents both came here from another country, and they wanted to work very hard for us to get an education and to become doctors and lawyers and, just to be well educated and to have a nice career and a nice life. So as a kid, they didn't really, not that they didn't support it, because I was surely, since I was a kid, I was in ballet, tap, jazz classes, but the fact that I didn't think I would have access to it drew me more to it in a weird way. That's kind of one of the things that I really enjoy about me, is that once I feel like something is really hard to do, or someone tells me I can't do something, or I don't think I have access to something, then I'll work very hard to do just that. But I remember being like 5 years old, and my mom would come in from work, and I would be laying out on the kitchen floor with ketchup all over myself. So this is not, it's not new. It's something that I always wanted to do, but my journey was a little different. Like, I went to the Army for school, for college money. It's not really a very typical road to doing what I'm doing now, but I don't think that if I hadn't gone to the Army that I would be doing this, because in the Army I learned about discipline, I learned about working hard, I learned about like work ethic, which is what I just said, but I learned that the time that we have here in our life, it's so short. Like, you have to really take every moment and do with it exactly as you want and as you please. So I think it teaches you to really understand that you only have one life, and it's long, yes, but it's also short. So once I left there, I was committed. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I moved to New York, and I started going to acting school, and things just, I've been working for a while. I've been working as an actor here in LA for 5 years. I've been living here 5 years, but prior to that, I did 3 years of school, acting school in New York. So it's been a while. Okay, well, recently, I had a movie called Boy Wonder come out. It was on Netflix, and we hit the festival circuit. I'm really proud of that movie because it was the first time that I played a really serious character. She is a detective who becomes very interested in this young kid and comes to find out that he's committing all these crimes that she would never think that he would commit. So, it's very serious, it's very dark, very moody, and, it was my first time doing any of that kind of work. So that was a lot of fun. And then I've done a lot of fun stuff. Like I've done Takers, I did Fighting, I've done, One of the Hostels. I've done a lot of TV, more so just guest starring. Up until now, I have the new show coming out, Love Thy Neighbor, on the OWN network, directed by Tyler Perry, produced by Tyler Perry and Oprah. So I'm really excited about that. And I have, the movie that I did last year with Tyler as well, called Single Moms Club, that's due out early next year. That's the most important part for me, is that I continue to grow. I know that some of the people that I really admire that most people admire, like Meryl Streep and people of that caliber. I always stay in class. Like, I never stop studying. I know I have a long way to go, but I'm working hard at becoming better and better, not just every day, but just every role that I take. I critique myself very hardly, very harshly, and I think that's a blessing, but it's also, it could also do you some wrong. But with Single Moms Club, for example, the movie, my mom, when I was very young, my parents were divorced. So there was a lot of inspiration and a lot of just gathering of information that I could go back to in my experience, and just living that with my mom and my family, that I drew from for that movie. With the TV show, the character's so much like me. So I don't live so much in the imaginary world. I always try to draw from my own personal experiences and try to find really analogous situations in my life. That's what really, for me, makes the performance that much better, and it makes it pop more for me emotionally, internally, and then it will show on the screen.
Got you. What goes through your mind, like, right before you hear action?
Right before I hear action?
Yeah.
I try not to have anything but what just happened before that moment in the character's life, where I am emotionally. If I'm thinking about anything else, then something's wrong. And I always, before I start any job or before I even go on set, I pray, and I'm grateful to God for just the opportunity of being able to do what I love to do. I get chills just talking about it, because it's such a blessing that I get to live my dream and get to just do the things that I really want to do. But right before they yell action, I try to be in the moment with the character that I'm playing. I try to, think about the moment before and just fully understand where this person is at that precise moment, where they are emotionally. Artistic people, that's icing on the cake. Like, every day when you wake up should be a beautiful experience, because you're living life and you're here. So that's where my gratitude really comes from. I come from a place where I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful that I'm able to sit in front of this camera with you. I'm grateful that, like I said, I'm able to live my dream. I try to be very conscious of that, and I try really hard to be aware. I think being aware in this world is such a beautiful thing. When you're an aware human being and you understand the world around you, and you understand that you are here for a reason and that you don't have to be here tomorrow, that changes everything. That changes your perspective. It changes the way you walk. It changes the way you interact with people. It changes everything. So I don't take anything for granted. I have a tendency to speak really fast, and maybe that's just the Latin in me. So if I could change one thing, am I speaking fast? Am I speaking fast now? No? I can do that. So I would definitely just take my time, breathe, really take my time speaking and getting my point across. So that would be one of the things that I would change.
Does it happen a lot where you do something and everybody's like, oh my God, that's great, and you're like, I hated that?
All the time. All the time. We are our own worst critics. It happens all the time where I'm like, please give me one more take. Just give me one more take. And they're like, that was great. We got what we needed. But see, here's the thing. Sometimes when you rehearse something or you know the emotional place where that person, where the character is supposed to be, and for some reason it's when you're on camera, it doesn't come across, or you don't feel it from inside. You're like, if you give me one more take, I promise you I'll get what I wanted to bring out. But sometimes all of that isn't necessary. Sometimes the camera sees things that, that we don't see or that I don't feel in the moment. And that's happened too, where I go back and look and I'm like, oh, okay. That looked good. I like that. Yeah. It truly is about killing your ego. And that is a big, especially for actors. I mean, I understand the nature of what we do and the nature of what this is. But you really have to just say, there's a bigger picture. The director knows what they're doing. That's why they're doing this. And you have to let go at some point. And you have to trust that the work that you put in before you got on set is going to show up. You have to trust that. You have to trust yourself. That's it. You just have to trust yourself. Trust that you did enough work beforehand for it to be good enough to be on to show up in your work. Rejection is such a beast if you don't know that there's much more to you than just you being an actor or you being in this business. If I didn't have God in my life, and I keep going back to this, if I didn't have God in my life, there's no way I could be in this business or work in this business at all. Because the emotional burden of the ongoing rejection that happens because it has to happen, the life of an actor starting out is hard. It's challenging enough to do the work and to have the courage and to have I don't want to say guts, but just to have, I admire actors a lot because it takes a lot to get in front of a camera, to be rejected, to stand in a room full of people and be rejected. But aside from that, there's got to be something bigger than that. Like there's got to be something to you that is even more important. There's got to be, for me, if I didn't have God in my life, I couldn't do this because it really just takes so much away from you. I remember early on, I would call my mom and I'd be like, I'm coming home. I'm not doing this anymore. This is crazy. And she's like, no. And if my mom too, just have a strong family unit, friends that support you. But more than anything, it's fun. The rejection is there and it's always going to be there, but there's rejection in every part of life. That's just a part of life. There's really no way around it, especially in this business. So if you don't have that love for yourself, the inner love for yourself, to love yourself through it all, I don't recommend it.
The new fans.
To my old fans and my new fans, I'm very much active on social media. I'm on Instagram and Twitter. So I'm Zulai_Inau, and that's it. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and I have a website that's coming out soon that I'll post on those two avenues. But yeah, it'll be fun to keep in touch with all you guys. And I'm good. I write back, and I'm very interactive on social media. My friends laugh at me. They're like, you tweet so much.
All right. So. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, this is Zulai Inau. I hope that you've enjoyed hanging out with me on Star Studio. I really enjoyed my time with you. I just want to send you all my love.